Beautiful woman. I am a woman. I'm a strong woman. I didn't get sad. Days woman. I can't be your doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, or an engineer. I could be your mother. Ooh, I can be your sister. I can be a nurse or a judge in the court. I could be a leader, ruling over nations. All of the world, I am a woman. I'm a strong woman. Do this. I'm intelligent and wise. A beautiful woman. I am a woman. I'm a strong woman. Do this. I said, days will come. The sleep in this calling, and the voice of unity must answer to this woman, this woman.
Wake up when you slumber, stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the world. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now you need to deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrates us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to breathe? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that the question that we ask. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us, so much. I said they lie. The people fool us.
The people lie to us. The people fool us. I don't believe they lie to y'all. I don't believe they fool you. I believe short-sightedness, greed, tribalism, hunger, make a go in circle. Okay? We all knew. We traveled this path before. We didn't lie. But tonight we will be talking about, Lofa Julius will join me. If you want to join me, let me know. I will send you the link. We'll be talking about collateral damage. When leader fails, okay, when leadership fails, who suffer, okay, or who pays the price? When the leadership fails, who pays the price? Is it the leaders or is it the people? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to talk. There are a few things here to talk about. In fact, there are a lot of things here to talk about. First, Like I say, I have been quiet on Papi Boaka's appointments. Um, Josiah Joka was like, Brother Jesse was your little brother, somebody who I journeyed with for the past 6, almost 7 years, advocating for war and economic crimes court, for a professional environment, for an equitable uh, um, Liberia, so to speak. And just 2 days ago, Lofa wrote something about him. But I woke up yesterday morning to my surprise. Somebody had take a clip of his speech, literally giving directives for people working at MCC to be fired. Okay? And apparently the people were fired. If you remember a few months back when Josiah Joka took over, all right, he said, I think there were over 40,000 people that were on the payroll illegally. Then there was public outcry. Then it came up to I don't know how many ever people there was. Okay. They wanted to poach the people out of there. Then the question that begs an answer. How far do we take this? Papi Boaka government is doing exactly, okay, what we are government said it did. Because when we are government came to power, everything you said, they say UP did it. UP was the measurement. UP was the yardstick in which they pointed at. When money disappeared, they say UP did it. Yeah, UP did it. That is correct. Today, I was reading the article from 2018, January, that was published. I believe it was January. Let me see here. I got to know what it is. It's a new season. January or June, but I will find it. Of 2018, when we had just taken over. And they chronicle in that newspaper how much money the people have set out to divide among themselves. I'm trying to pull this that I just saw it not too long ago. I literally just saw it. I just saw it. I'm not even doing this. I'm waiting for Lufa. Where is Lufa? Okay, I'm trying to pull it, but I will pull it later. All right. While I'm looking for it, let me talk to something. So today, Lufa, come on.
I got the link. I'll be joining you shortly.
Okay. Here we are. Okay. A lot of you and myself were in the street advocating to do the right thing. Okay. So I hear a lot of people talk about freedom of speech. Okay. If somebody spoke against you and that you didn't like, it is your responsibility to take them to court. How do you fire somebody when Yeke was just in the street And Pape Boaka and the friend, I would say they send that little girl to go to Yeke and take picture. And the next now, the guy got a job. The lady who was going after or going Yeke, she got called and given $2,000 allegedly. This girl, what's her name? Queen Johnson, grabbed a ball, was literally beaten to death during the campaign. Pape Boaka gave Queen Johnson a job. Queen Johnson got a job. Okay? Have no background, have nothing, but got a job. Mo Ali lied on Mr. Cummings and lied on an oath. He gets a job paying over $100,000 and a $60-some more thousand car. About. Those who do not want to be insulted, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's correct. If we're here, nothing has changed. And to tell you the truth, if the Liberian people say the people lie to them, they didn't lie. Mo Ali, the Secretary General of UP, said, if not UP, we should stay. That's why during the second round, I refused to support them. Because they were not about change. They were only mad because they were not the one that was stealing. They were not the one that were getting the car. They weren't the one that were having the minute girlfriends. They weren't. So let me show you something. Yeah, give me 1 second here. Where is my, how you call it? Please share. This is Josiah Joka doing 2017 election. Very opinionated. Okay, I remember this. Like yesterday, I'm going to play this. All right. Hold on. So this was all about, and I'm not going to, like I said, I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to, how you call it, but I just want him to show you, and I will show you a few more videos with us in New York. Okay? Before we could even take over campaigning for justice.
He said that he will not accept
my president,
the next president of the Republic of Liberia, which are supposed to be George Weah today, announced by the National Election Commission. Now, Mr. Josiah, your standard bearer, Ambassador Joseph Boaka just announced that every partisan of the United Party should accept the fact that they are loose.
Yeah, so he's spoken as my leader, and that's it. But I would tell you, as a Liberian, an individual of this country, that George Weah's election doesn't negate his incompetence. So he's not my president. Joseph Boaka is the one I voted for him.
By the order of
I voted for him, and I can vote for him 1 million more times over George Weah. And I've said that even my son, my 6-year-old son, knows that George Weah is not his president, and it's my right as a citizen to say how I feel about what has transpired. We did not lose a genuine election. We did not lose a free, fair, and transparent election.
So
we lost a fraudulent election.
So you're telling me this
is on the basis, and it's on the basis. I know what credible elections are, and on the basis of that, I will repeat, I will emphasize that my president is my candidate, Joseph Boaka.
So for the next 6 years, we're not have
for the next 6 years, I'm a professional person. I will work, and I will not be silent though. So in this country, we will not embrace brutal dictatorship that will just give me president in our country. Say that. Where there's incompetence, absolutely. Where there's incompetence, absolutely, that breeds dictatorship. It breeds tyranny. And it's obvious for you to know. That's not a subject of debate. So I am saying
here, that's not the decision I made, and so that's not my president. My president is Joseph Imabwaka, whom I voted for, and I can.
So this is Josiah Joker again. I'm gonna go ahead and play this. This is the scene. Hold on, I'm gonna stop here. This is the scene, gentlemen. I hope you guys saw that. That was just saying to us, incompetence breed dictatorship. But he's censoring people' opinion. He is giving order for people to be fired because they had an opinion about Pape Boakai. You know, I heard somebody wrote the other day, UPNs are professional people, so if they don't, they will find. No, most of them, because they were in government, they had their passport and their visa. And that's why America not giving, because most of them that apply, they're Liberian, that they're government official. That's why they ain't giving you a visa. All right? They came far for status and they stay here. And moving around on Facebook and saying how well most of them were doing. I'm not talking about particularly Josiah Joker. Okay? But let's continue this conversation. The same person who was talking about tyranny, okay? The same person who was talking about incompetence breed tyranny. Here he is, that people have opinion about Joseph Boakai. So those of us who are talking what's going to happen to us when we get to Liberia, will we disappear at night because we're speaking? There he is.
The Monrovia City Corporation to immediately relieve 9 employees who have consistently engaged in dangerous and destructive social media campaigns against public officials, particularly targeting the president of Liberia.
Did you guys hear that word? The word is public official. People that you hire to work for you. People that you voted for to work on your behalf. That you say you do not condemn them. You should not call them out. You should not get mad and get outraged. Okay? Enraged. That's what they say. You cannot say anything. That's dictatorship right there. That's censoring people's voice and telling them. And last time they said when we are threatened, we are came back and say he decriminalized freedom of speech. All right. Is Boakai going to criminalize it now that people getting fired for? Listen, I particularly do not condone that. All right. But if this is the case, Josiah Joker should not be working in government. I'm just saying. If this is the case, Queen Johnson should not be in fact after Queen Johnson is supposed to be what? On the run from the police because she's supposed to be wanted. Right? Here he goes. Let me continue with this. Lord have mercy, Liberia. But I'm glad we are documenting this. This one right here is
these actions have caused significant harm to the reputation and image of the Monrovia City Corporation. The negative portrayal of government officials by these unscrupulous.
He's not concerned about the truth. He's concerned about the government official looking bad or government looking bad. It's not the same thing that we went against we for yesterday, me, Josiah, and everybody else. Is it not? Let me go.
Employees has far-reaching effects on the individuals concerned, meaning the targeted public officials and the government as a whole. Such unacceptable and sustained behavior on social media is incompatible.
All right. So that's that. He's more concerned about doing their look on social media than doing what is right by the Liberian people. That's what they're concerned about. And censorship, all right? That's dictatorship. That's tyranny. The tyranny that he was calling we are, okay, at this point. Let me continue on this. I'm going to play one more video of the same Josiah Joker, and I'm with him, all right? Me, I can hold on to what I say, what I do. I am right there with him, all right? So here we are. This is me. This is what CDC cost me for 6 years. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm here. I'm still talking. I'm here. What's going on with this thing? Okay. Y'all come listen, Liberia people. Me pa I can sell myself. That mean here. Y'all come. Here we go. All right, y'all listen up.
South Korea came along. You give them, America gave them less than $600 billion. We have got them over $1 billion. It hasn't changed. So it's time to grow up. That said, we have a position statement I would like to be presented by our communication team. Josiah Joka is going to go ahead and present that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this statement is strictly for the Speaker and members of Congress. And so we will read the statement, and we have a special copy for the Speaker and congressional members.
Yeah, sounds good.
Good. So we will read, and after that, we'll present the statement to you so that you can all transmit
Pass
to the
along.
Speaker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Special statement in support of Resolution 1055 presented to the United States Congress by US-based Liberians. Madam Speaker and members of the United States Congress, today Liberians have gathered under the banner March for Justice and Accountability in Liberia on Capitol Hill before the United States Congress to express their firm support for House Resolution 1055, unanimously passed by the House of Representatives in 2018 and currently awaiting the concurrence of the Senate and subsequent signing into law by President Donald J. Trump. Special thanks to former Representative Daniel M. Donovan Jr. of District 11, New York State, who introduced the resolution. Similar appreciation goes to all of the sponsors of the resolution, the House's Committee on Foreign Affairs for adoption, and the entire membership of the House of Representatives for the unanimous passage of the resolution. Absolutely, Liberians have no doubt that the United States Senate will concur with the House of Representatives for the passage into law of this vital piece of legislation, which seeks to address Liberia's entrenched culture of corruption and impunity. Today's assembly was jointly organized by Liberia justice advocacy groups and individuals based in the United States to include, but not limited to, the Movement for Justice, Truth, Coalition for Justice Liberia, and some members of the then Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Liberia. House Resolution 1055, among other things, seeks to affirm strong United States-Liberia ties and support.
Lofa, I'm going to stop here for a second. Are you there, Lofa? Where is he? Okay. I just have Lofa, just saw Lofa.
USA remains Liberia's largest and trusted bilateral donor. Since 1961, USA continues to play a pivotal role in many aspects of Liberia's development, including the sustenance of the country's nascent democracy, governance reform, rights protection, economic growth, education, healthcare, and disaster management. Thanks to U.S. taxpayers for their indefatigable benevolence. Madam Speaker, distinguished members of Congress, it has been more than 15 years now since the devastating civil war in Liberia ended. The war remains the bloodiest ever in the history of the country, which spread to neighboring Guinea, Sierra Leone.
I'm going to stop here, guys. I'm going to stop right here. I'm just telling you, we all did this. We all went to Liberia. Some of their family was still working for the government. Okay. Yes, there were a lot of issues with WIA. All right. But that's why WIA is not there. All right. If Papa Bouaka did not want to be insulted, he did not want to be called out, you did not want to be called rogue, then you didn't have to work in government. But here is what I really would like for us to talk about. There should not be a civil service agency at all if our lawmakers were doing their job. The 1986 article, okay, 89, Constitution 89 says there's supposed to be 3. I think these are 3 agencies. The following autonomous public commissions are hereby established. Civil Service Commission. It's supposed to be Civil Service Commission, not agency. Anything that is outside of that is contrary to the law, is unconstitutional. All right? It is unconstitutional. So that means, and that's the Civil Service Agency was supposed to be the one who will even set the minimum wage. All right? The Civil Service Agency, the Election Commission, and the General Auditing Commission. Okay, the legislature shall enact law for the governance of these commissions and create other agencies, as many as may be necessary for the effective operation of governance. The essence of this was so we can't weaponize and politicize everything. So this agency can be independent. I work for the U.S. government. All right? I can say what I want to say. I can call Donald Trump wherever I want to call. The only thing I can do is threaten him. I can call Joe Biden wherever I want to call. Cameron, wherever I want to call. Y'all go look on the internet. They call it freedom of freaking speech. If you think somebody freedom of speech, okay, is harmful to you, then take them to court. But as a public person, you're public servant. You're president. People will say what they want to say. So I'm here. Lofa, where are you?
I'm here. Waiting for you to finish up that video. I thought you had a video going on.
You wanted me to play the whole thing?
Well, I mean, yeah. I guess you guys were speaking to
the Congress. Okay, then I can go.
Yeah,
okay.
Just get people to kind of listen in and listen to
all
what
right, I'm gonna go ahead because I see you came. I wanted to how you call. I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah, just go ahead, play the whole thing, and then I'm gonna kind of tag it on my page out here as well. Go ahead, do that.
Okay, so there we go.
At Cote d'Ivoire, thereby destabilizing the entire market. Children conscripted by various rebel groups as 250,000 lives were rebel groups with the support of their benefactors. Violated international humanitarian and human rights jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court, and therefore required by the International Criminal Court. Unfortunately, these crimes committed predominantly against armless civilians have never been investigated by the ICC as required, except the crime of aggression committed by Charles Taylor in Sierra Leone, for which he was prosecuted and now sentenced through the special court that was set up by the ICC for Sierra Leone. Interestingly, the common Article 3 and Protocol 2 of the Geneva Convention was also ratified by the government of Liberia and are applicable to Liberia. These two must be enforced by all members and be accountable thereof. The violations of international criminal laws, international human rights laws, and international humanitarian laws, including war crimes, should never be swept under carpet. The fights are preponderant and evidentiary. All factions that were engaged in the armed conflict in Liberia, one way or the other, violated, degraded, abused, denigrated, and committed sexual and gender-based violence against women and girls, including rape, sexual slavery, forced marriages, and other dehumanizing forms of violations, massacres, economic crimes, and
Can you stop this?
I
Citizen,
can
stop it for a
okay.
second. You got
Stop.
your
Okay.
pages completely open.
All right. I stop.
Your page is open. Just kind of bring it down.
Okay. Close it now.
Yeah, close that whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because your messages are coming in. Can you
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
just maximize? Make sure you just, if you are able to maximize the entire video, so that way your messages are not revealed. I just noticed that.
Okay.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but it won't let me do that on this
Send it to
computer
me.
for
All right,
some
send me the
reason.
video. I'll play from my end.
Okay. Let me send it to you. Okay, great. I'll send it to you now. Senator Nyata, you have Nimakande just asked them to reinstate the people, which is I want to see what they're gonna do. That's a good thing. Hold on. Let me send it to you. Here we go. There we go. Let me send both to you. Let me send it to you.
Well, you just sent me just one of them.
Okay. Here it is. Lofa Julius. Yeah. There you go. I just sent it to you. Yeah. I just sent it to you.
Okay.
So, and I know you were here. I started with this. I don't know if I had an opportunity to read Article 89 of the 1986 Constitution that kind of came as an amendment. Because of what were happening in the political arena, they decided that they would have some autonomous institution, and that was a mandate for that to be instituted. And those agencies were supposed to have their own work and kind of stop some of the. Okay, there go Lufa. Go ahead, Lufa. I'm going to stop and we listen up. Go ahead.
I want for the American taxpayer to continue to support our country. We want to have structure. And
I see the Lil Wayne Philly. So rest in peace.
We need this
Yeah, I saw that. I just saw that.
To keep his word by implementing the full TRC implementation report. We want our women to have rights. You've seen lately where rape is at the highest. Babies as young as 7 years old have been raped and nothing is happening. People have been killed in the street. People, their mass murder going on or mass justice going on. We need justice. We need accountability. We need a rule of law. We need a full implementation of the TRC report. These are my colleagues. I lead the nation over here. I represent the people who wants the war in the economic crimes court. We want to see the next generation do better. America have been a strong supporter, still is. USAID donates millions of dollars. And we have resources, I don't think. And the reason we're this was corruption. We are the victim of corruption. We are the victim of impunity. And those in power wouldn't want it to go away. But we need our big brother or our father, the USA, to go ahead. And if this is not done, they take away, we don't need to pay money to the country where they won't listen to it. If I give you help, at one point you need to grow up. We can't continue to be, Liberia is 171 years old. America is about 200 years old. We can't continue to do this.
29 years
South
different.
Korea came along. You give them, America gave them less than $600 million. We have got them over $1 billion. It hasn't changed. So it's time to grow up. That said, we have a position statement I would like to be presented by our communication team. Josiah Joker is going to go ahead and present that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this statement is strictly for the Speaker and members of Congress. And so we will read the statement, and we have a special copy for the speaker and congressional members.
Yeah, sounds good.
Good. So we will read, and after that, we'll present the statement to you so that you can all transmit
Pass
to the
along.
speaker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Special statement in support of Resolution 1055 presented to the United States Congress by U.S.-based Liberians. Madam Speaker and members of the United States Congress, today Liberians have gathered under the banner March for Justice and Accountability in Liberia on Capitol Hill before the United States Congress to express their firm support for House Resolution 1055, unanimously passed by the House of Representatives in 2018 and currently awaiting the concurrence of the Senate and subsequent signing into law by President Donald J. Trump. Special thanks to former Representative Daniel M. Donovan Jr. of District 11, New York State, who introduced the resolution. Similar appreciation goes to all of the sponsors of the resolution, the House's Committee on Foreign Affairs for adoption, and the entire membership of the House of Representatives for the unanimous passage of the resolution. Absolutely, Liberians have no doubt that the United States Senate will concur with the House of Representatives for the passage into law of this vital piece of legislation, which seeks to address Liberia's entrenched culture of corruption and impunity. Today's assembly was jointly organized by Liberia justice advocacy groups and individuals based in the United States, to include but not limited to the Movement for Justice in Liberia, International Justice Group, the Hard Truth, Grassroots Alternative Movement for Economic Freedom, Coalition for Justice Liberia, and some members of the then Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Liberia. House Resolution 1055, among other things, seeks to affirm strong United States-Liberia ties and support for democratic principles. The resolution also calls for the full implementation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission recommendations, including the establishment of an extraordinary criminal tribunal for Liberia. In other words, the resolution urges the government and people of Liberia to support the full implementation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission recommendations. It recognizes and further supports efforts by the Department of State and the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, to advance Liberia's national reconciliation through continuous support for the rule of law, effective governance, and robust role of civil society. Madam Speaker and members of Congress, the move by the United States government to reaffirm its unflinching support to Liberia's recovery and development process is in the framework of Resolution 1055, reflective of the long-standing traditional relationship that subsists between the two countries. Born out of the United States during the closing stages of the infamous slave trade in the 1800s, Liberia truly enjoys a special relationship with the United States.
You're a special relationship.
It is in the spirit of this bond that we have assembled here today on the historic grounds of the United States Congress on behalf of all Liberians, both at home and in the diaspora, to express gratitude to the government and people of the United States for the immeasurable contributions they continue to make towards Liberia's growth and development. In particular, Liberians are exceptionally grateful for the post-war reconciliation and recovery support efforts the country is benefiting from the United States through its Agency for International Development, USAID.
Okay.
By all accounts, USAID remains Liberia's largest and trusted bilateral donor. Since 1961, USAID continues to play a pivotal role in many aspects of Liberia's development, including the sustenance of the country's nascent democracy, governance reform, rights protection, economic growth, education, healthcare, and disaster management. Thanks to U.S. taxpayers for their indefatigable benevolence. Madam Speaker, distinguished members of Congress, it has been more than 15 years now since the devastating civil war in Liberia ended. The war remains the bloodiest ever in the history of the country, which spread to neighboring Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Cote d'Ivoire, thereby destabilizing the entire Mano River Union Basin. Women and girls were raped, children conscripted by various rebel groups as child soldiers. Mass murder took place across the country with wanton destruction of properties. About 250,000 lives were destroyed with massive looting of the economy. Rebel groups, with the support of their benefactors, committed heinous crimes against humanity, violated international humanitarian and human rights laws and protocols. According to the Rome Statute, these crimes fall directly under the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court.
Okay.
And therefore require investigation and prosecution by the International Criminal Court. Unfortunately, these crimes committed predominantly against armless civilians have never been investigated by the ICC as required, except the crime of aggression committed by Charles Taylor in Sierra Leone, for which he was prosecuted and now sentenced through the special court that was set up by the ICC for Sierra Leone. Interestingly, the Common Article 3 and Protocol 2 of the Geneva Convention was also ratified by the government of Liberia and are applicable to Liberia. These two must be enforced by all members and be accountable thereof. The violations of international criminal laws, international human rights laws, and international humanitarian laws, including war crimes, should never be swept under carpet. The facts are preponderant and evidentiary. All factions that were engaged in the armed conflict in Liberia, one way or the other, violated, degraded, abused, denigrated, and committed sexual and gender-based violence against women and girls, including rape, sexual slavery, forced marriages, and other dehumanizing forms of violations. Massacres, economic crimes, and extrajudicial killings were also committed. Sadly, these carnages, onslaughts, and atrocities committed up to today's date continue to haunt citizens of Liberia because justice continues to be delayed and eventually will be denied if left unattended. Unfortunately, some of those who bear the greatest responsibilities for these heinous war and economic crimes continue to walk scot-free. Most unfortunately, some of these very individuals are being rewarded with state power and have therefore become rulers of their victims at will and at their detriment, displeasure, and dissatisfaction.
Okay.
All right, Lofa.
All right. Yeah. So I guess I'll let you take over.
Okay. Thank you. So, folks, you voted. I see most of you come here and say the people lied to us. The people lied to us. No. All right. My biggest concern, actually, there's just a good news right now that the senator of Nemakane Nyatayo just wrote and said the Constitution was misinterpreted to with immediate effect. Go ahead and reinstate those that they fire, okay, which I think they should. All right. And I am coming back because I'm not going to be, that's my first time saying something, or second time saying something to Brother Josiah Joker. I would have thought I would be in the street. Lofa was there, I was there, everybody here was there, were there. Okay. It was to bring change to the people. Okay? You were here since you left Liberia. You came, you were here in America. You see how elections are ran here. You saw how we show up to the speaker office, all right, and give us their ear to speak to us. But I will just read this really quickly. Senator Nyan D. Tyre wrote, attention CSA and Monrovia City Corporation. I call for the immediate reinstatement of the civil servants who were fired using section of the CSA standing order, which were equally misunderstood and misguidedly used by the last government to fire people as seen below. It was wrong yesterday, wrong today, and will be wrong tomorrow. No law or standing order supersede the freedom of speech of all Liberian guarantee under our constitution. Amen to that. Lofa, you are the CMA lawyer. Take that from there.
Well, thanks for the invitation, Sister Cindy. It's good to be on here and sharing the platform with other Liberians. I want to first of all start with the statement from the senator, and just inquire what was that statement published? Where was it written and published? Was it on Facebook?
Let me send you the from his office. It just came out. Let me
Okay,
send
so
you.
it was published until his office released that statement, and it was
Yes.
published on Facebook.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
correct?
Here, the letter right here. The letter is right here. You got both letter here. I just sent it to
Okay, so here's my concern, right?
you.
I will get to Josiah's statement in action shortly, but let me first of all start with the lawbreakers and politicians who
Yep.
continuously make mockery of the situation in the country, thinking that they can just bamboozle their way through the realities on ground by using the social media platforms to grandstand and think that the people are supposed to instantly believe in their statements. What Liberians now want is to see actions.
Actions.
Liberians no longer believe in just sentimental statements, emotional or appeal for people's recognition. Liberians no longer want that. They're tired. They've been there, done that, and they're tired. Liberians are now seeking justice and accountability. And in order for them to really experience what we are talking about, they must actually see the action. You can write all you want, but what I'd expect to see from the senators and other representatives who, disagree with the action on the part of Josiah should now take upon themselves, reorganize, call themselves back for session, and make sure that they don't leave session until those individuals who were terminated are reinstated. Then you're telling me that you're actually acting.
Yes.
Those flimsy statements that are written out there in seeking public attention and sentiments, I don't buy into them. I consider all of them just complete nonsense. If you're sincerely serious, you should lobby with your buddies. Call them up. Tell them, let us get back. Let us actually call ourselves back in session and work for the people, regardless of whether we get paid or not. Let us work, because the act of writing that document right there is an act of advocacy. Advocacy, we don't get paid for advocacy. Advocacy is a voluntary act because you believe in transformation. That's what people do. But because of our mindsets in Liberia, our way of doing things, we now transform the idea of advocacy into money-making thing. And that's why vast majority of the population don't believe in us when we fight for true transformation. That brings me to the topic with Josiah. You listen to Josiah read through the petition. Okay, Josiah yesterday advocated for transformation. He advocated for justice and accountability.
Yep.
For Josiah today, like I stated in my my post, to sit today after he and other people who ran on the mantle of transparency, accountability, the rescue mission, to come today and then start to prosecute the same people that you claim that you were going to rescue, it's disgraceful. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating to all of his academic achievements, because, of course, it tells me that he's ignoring what he have acquired knowledge-wise. You can't just simply ignore something because you want to satisfy the sentiment of few individuals in your circle. This is no longer politics as usual. Josiah should not think that it benefits him or his political party when he actually terminates other Liberians from their position, especially when you do such a thing in the government that is yet to notify the public on the growth in job creation, especially in the private sector or other parts of the business sector. You don't have you cannot point to one private institution, not a single private entity that have introduced anything about job creation. The only thing that I see happening in Liberia today is the Lebanese or Indians who are sharing food, or our brothers and sisters. You allow your people to be turned into nothing more than slaves in their own country. You celebrate those acts when people are giving handouts, not even handouts. They're just distributing food. The bare minimum, the basic necessities are not being met. And here you are targeting people based on their political affiliations.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Instead of
Thank
you
you,
trying to unite the country and make sure that the people can work together under one umbrella and build together, instead you're dividing the country further than you can ever imagine. The statement read by Josiah yesterday is nothing similar to what he read a few days ago. When I speak of yesterday, I'm talking about years when we all went to New York, D.C., because we claimed we were fighting injustice and accountabilities in Liberia. We claimed that we were fighting against the idea, of ritualistic killing. We were asking for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court in Liberia. What have changed overnight? The fact that you are now opportune to serve your people, you become what it is, a dictator. Aren't you no longer the seven the people asked for? I saw some of the faces in there, and let me use this opportunity, Sister Cindy, and I will give you the opportunity to speak to this. Let me use this time to just acknowledge and appreciate the late Wayne Saley. Very often people are forgotten when they're no longer in existence, especially among us who are alive, because I guess their contribution, and these things happen almost every time, where even some of the folks who are alive,
it's life.
When they are the present here, once you're not part of that conversation at the moment, you're not acknowledged. They don't see you as that factor in the contribution because they don't see you at that time. So their memory only serves those who they feel deserve to be acknowledged for their contribution. But when I watch this video, I see the late Wayne City, this young man, regardless of our differences politically and back and forth, but obviously he wanted what was best for Liberia. He advocated tirelessly, timelessly, did everything, and his life was cut short because of his commitment. Those are people we should appreciate, we should acknowledge, and always remember their presence. Now that those who walked and advocated with them at the helm of power to turn their backs on the reality and pretend like it doesn't
Yeah,
exist
exactly.
is disgraceful.
Exactly, Lofa.
Go ahead, Sister Cindy.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. You know, we're here the other day. I send every now and then. Let me just tell my own story. Every now and then, Lofa Lo post my own post will get on my Facebook, and Lofa on a post from 7, 8 years ago. And every time it shows up, I will send it to him. One day he sent me say, I like the way you like to remind me. I don't do that to everybody. It is to say, as young people, because I'm not, they are, Lofa is, who are joining with us along this path to stay be consistent and still be able to hold people accountable. You don't have to call people names. You don't have to go beating people up. You can be stern. You can and stand with it and be true to it. You know, somebody just wrote here and said, Adama just wrote and said, some of that tell you some of these people were not honest. Okay? You've been given power to bring the change. All right? I hear you one day who was saying the people needed justice, impunity, ring. The first thing is, we said there were over 40,000 bogus name on. It came down, there were no 40,000 because the public came out. I also want to say, Lofa, you said thank you. Because a lot of people don't understand. Sitting here on this platform, I came from where we headed. But since I promised to be here, I didn't want to come on here by myself. I call you and say, yeah, I will come. Here we are. We take our own money to go to Washington, to go to New York, to call people out, and to also say thank you to Zuckerberg because social media, because the blink is social media. When even with CDC, it was social media. Every political, what do you call it, who among who's in Liberia now, they say that where everything starts from for social media. Okay, if you say we don't have a voice, this is the global village. So Josiah, as your big sister, I'm very disappointed in you. I mean, we literally just started acknowledging some of your work. But for you, you're too young, oh man. You're too young. Joe, you're too young. You got children. You know, there are a lot of stuff that was done those days. There were no evidence. Everything that we're doing today, there's a digital footprint
Yes.
that will come. If somebody say and see your children say, you part then get job, they were pleading, and here they are. You say the child said Allah. Somebody will pull it and show it. So let me say this to you. Don't go fighting other people. The same way you want to take care of your children. The same things that you want for your children, Liberian people want it for their children. Your children are here. You packed them, you brought them to America. They are here. They are good. But you want to help change the system that we all spoke against. You've been given an opportunity to bring that change. Better yet, right now, if I were you, I will be focusing. I would say, listen, the Civil Service Agency is a law that came from 1973. It's supposed to have been outdated. The Liberian Congress was supposed to have enacted the Civil Service Commission, okay, and make sure it was autonomous. They have not done so because they were going to take the power out of their hand, or the people in charge, the power were going to be taken. So this is what we're saying tonight. So, and I will add my voice to Lofa voice. Senator Nyadi Tayo, those very words that you wrote, make sure your actions show on it. Make sure, and we also heard Speaker Fernando Kofa told them that it was illegal. Okay? It was illegal. Pape Bouaka, the people came back to you because they thought you have nothing to lose, that you will leave a legacy. Okay? Because no man live forever. None of us will. But and I always say this, Pape Bouaka, you will be the most educated experienced native men in the high office. If you fail, it means we all fail. And the way things going, it does not look good. I heard somebody today who used to come on 3 times a day cussing you. The same way they were cussing us yesterday. All right? So, Liberians, and I see some of you, my own sister Florence, okay, coming on Facebook to say this is justified. There's nothing that was done yesterday that is doing today that is justified. All right? Doing George Weata, my cousin, were going to the football game. Okay? And what about the Besoka Safeta or whatever he need is they're twin. One of them in the government, the other one when he George Weah government, he ended up being commissioned at the port in Buchanan. He fired my cousin. The letter is on out there. Pressure Tata Bullet was fired because she spoke. All right? And Ta even offered her job. I think she was put back in her position. That's exactly what you people are doing. Okay? That's exactly what you people are doing. So we're saying to you tonight, I'm not here long. Thursday night is only 1 hour. All right? So I'm going to let Lofa take it from there. Y'all fix the law. All right? In fact, this constitution is outdated. It does not reflect us. It's not inclusive of all Liberians. When the constitution was established, it never spoke of where Liberia will encounter 14 years of civil war, that almost a quarter of the population will be killed, and the other quarter will have to run away to stay alive, all right? So you can't use it to discriminate against us, all right? Now, this is where we are. This is where we are at this point. Let me say to all of us, Liberia is in our hand to build for our children. So we're going to stay focused. One thing you will get here, I'm not here to brag, is longevity, consistency, being the voice of the people, those who want to be heard, they're afraid to speak or they're not ready to speak. That's what it will be. Thank you. Lofa?
Well, again, says it's not really much to say
Yes.
to this entire thing. First of all, let me just say this. For most Liberians who found themselves in this predicament, I want to remind you that you are part of the process to get yourselves here.
Yeah.
You spoke of the reminders that I get often from you, and every time you sent them to me, I listen to them in its totality. If it is a live podcast that I kind of skim through it to see what was the context of the message that was being deliberated, so that hopefully I can learn from it and make the needed adjustment if there is one to be made, or just enhance what I felt like is already at my disposal. But if we don't, as a nation, see reason to collaborate efforts and fight the bad people, I think the bad people are more in Liberia than the good people. They're very selective, few individuals who can put their hands up and say, I challenge you to prove this, okay, that I'm a part of this corrupt system. So
Yeah.
it would take the entire nation. That means those of you who are not part of the corrupt system, the status quo. I told you, or during the elections, when people were running campaign, I said to you, pay keen attention to the messages.
Yeah.
The messengers are simply bringing the message, but what the message entails is what you should focus on. The likes of Yombly Conga Lawrence, Darius DeLon, and others were deceptive to the extent where they said to you, you needed not to hear from the messenger,
Yeah.
or
The man who wants to lead you.
the implementer of those ideas that they were propagating, you believed it. You bought into it, and now you have been served as the sacrificial lamb.
Yep.
Here's my thing, though.
Collateral damage.
What have you learned, and what would you learn going forward? We can simply disagree, because I personally, like I often say, and I will continuously do what I can do within at least my low power, what is within my jurisdictions. If it's in my domain, I will do it. But here's the reality. How many young people can go another 6 years and have no value added? How many young people do you see leaving from here? Those who are well off. And I see some of the young people. I see Nyanton.
Yeah. I saw Nyata in the club the other day.
Right. He was, but he was part of the he was part of the
advocacy group. Yeah.
Yeah, the advocacy group that you guys were all talking about, right?
Yeah. He was right there. You were right there with us. Yeah.
In DC. Do you now see them advocating for, good governance?
Nope.
These are the people who actually continue to just step on the growth, okay? The growth of Liberia, the possibility of transforming the country. Look at those who declare their assets.
Yeah.
When you talk about
over 1,500 of them, Lofa, yes, Lofa, please speak on that. Please, we need to amplify that. Yes.
Asset declarations. A handful of them declared
firing people for
it wasn't even authentic. It was not authentic. There is no way to authenticate the information provided. You cannot verify what is written on those documents.
It is the duty of the LACC to go and investigate and verify and authenticate those information. They can't just take what people give to them at face value.
People continue to make mockery of themselves and think that they are doing it to a certain group of people because they don't have that similarity in ideals. But the truth remains that you and other people may not be much victimized like those of you who are in Liberia, because you are the true victims.
Yep.
How disgraceful is it to see that the capital flooded?
Yes.
When you had a senator who was just bragging about the purchase of new furnitures, but you did not focus.
New furniture.
You see why when I speak to you, I say is misplaced priorities.
They don't know.
You misplace your priorities because you have nothing in order. You're supposed to pay your rent. Your buddy call you and say, yo, we got a party going on. Instead of you having to pay your rent, you took the money and contributed to this group that's supposed to be going on this tour.
Right.
You have all of these. I mean, misplaced priorities is something similar. You have the house.
Yep.
So since Gifty Brown said the good people are more, the good people are more than the bad people. So let me
Lofa, I wanted to come and add my voice to that. I think the good people are more. They're just being beaten down. But let me say something. The bad people are not as much as the good people, but the bad people are united in their wickedness. That's the problem.
Well, I want to disagree. I want to disagree with that. And in this context, the reason why I'm purposely saying that the bad people are more than the good people is simple. If you were to just conduct your own survey today, just put the divide and rule idea in place. Every lawbreaker in Liberia has his or her own supporters.
Oh yeah.
They defend them. So let's do the calculation. Let's do the math here and think about it. So how many lawmakers do we have?
103.
You have 103 lawmakers, and each of those lawmakers have their devoted and dedicated loyalists,
They build their own army.
right? Now, these people, what do? They are loyal to that lawmaker. So 103 of them. Now, 103 of them have at least, let's just do for the sake of just argument, each 103 of them have at least 15% that is loyal to them. Now, of those 15 individuals, remember those 15 individuals have their own family. So their family now, in their family or in their circle of friends, each 15 of them have 15 other people who are loyal to them. And of those 15,
3,000 already off the back.
thank you. Now we're going, let's just keep going down the line. The spider web. This is the psychological part of the entire. When I say people, the bad people are more, I'm not talking about somebody who would take a gun and just shoot somebody in the head. But if you look at the entire process, how it goes, at the end of the day, they are looking, how do I benefit in return? There's one person at the top of the food chain who controls all of these people. From all dynamics, here you are, we have elected bunch of thieves who would not distance themselves from the rest of their colleagues. So I would not separate them from the gangsters, the armed robbers, and other people who go out there and take people's lives and take their properties. And this is why I continue to say, now, if we are upset, if we are again mad about the fact that we have been categorized to be less impactful, or our population, if you consider yourself a part of the good people, then maybe we need to reinforce our efforts. We need to fight and work harder so that our impact can be felt and that more good people can be elected to represent us. Now, I'm not saying that we can read the minds, because I personally, I supported Darius DeLon. Little did I ever know, neither did I think that Darius DeLon today will be the man he is. But you know what? The fisherman never stops fishing, because the day before he caught nothing. He goes the day after because he has to feed his family. I'll stop at that point.
So, Lofa, before we close really quickly, I got 7 more minutes, okay? I wanted to talk about the Claire Weir City of Hope. They say it's her personal stuff. I think that place needs to be turned over to the government. It's our money. She was giving millions of dollars as the first lady to build that place. Whether she was in the office and she raised that fund under the banner of Liberia First Lady. That place goes to the Liberian government to serve the country. We were giving her over $700,000 a year, okay, for 6 years. It was not for her. It was for the office of the First Lady. Wherever she built, it's ours. It belongs to the taxpayer. It is their money. It's not for her. You cannot be in that position and build a charity. No, that would be my last say. Tomorrow morning I will speak to it.
Well, and in that regards, if that is the case, then I think we should go back and make sure that Madame Solive, who actually also runs a foundation, I believe, and the Weir-led government included some kind of funding for her foundation. I don't think it's fair.
No, but Lofa, though, she did not have the foundation when she was the president. Right. After she left the presidency, even here is done here. If president here, when you leave office, you build. She built that when she was from the day she became.
That's what I'm saying, though. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Why should we have to financially sponsor Madame Solive's foundation?
I don't agree with it either. But the point I'm trying to make to you is, she left office. The foundation is I think it's a presidential foundation. Okay, it would be the first. All right. And she went around raising money. I don't think it needs to be in our budget. That I agree with you. But the City of Hope that was built, it was built with Liberian people money. Okay, Claire, we didn't build a city, didn't have a foundation when her husband was a multi-millionaire.
And I
Okay.
agree, and I agree
Okay.
with that though. But this is my only disagreement here, and I'm sorry though, because we cannot ignore the reality here. Madam Salif Time, we did not have a first lady. Okay, so we take that
No.
away. Um, and then we had President Weah, whose wife established the foundation. I think the fact that it is already established, okay, the fact that we already have the foundation established, it's about time that we use that as a benchmark to lay out the rubrics for future first ladies. Okay, to say, okay, President Dore, look at the case of President Dore. Okay, I don't think President Dole's wife had anything to do with foundation or anything.
She didn't
But
have a budget. None of the president that came before had a budget. It not even, and that's
there
what when you
you
say that,
go.
what you call them the legislature, the legislature allowed that because they saw it in the saying they were getting their court that was compromised. They didn't care about the Liberian people.
There
Like
you
I said,
go.
collateral damage.
So this is why I often say, if we don't see reason, if we don't see reason to separate ourselves. Oh, the president, she had the foundation while she
I don't
was
remember
president,
Ellen Johnson Sirleaf having a
president, and
foundation
even
before
had, see,
president.
there
No,
you go. So
no.
Theodore is saying that Madame Sirleaf had the foundation while
Mm-mm.
she was the
I don't.
president.
I
But
don't
anyway,
remember her having foundation
so let, let,
as
let,
a
let, let me
president.
get to why there are three separate branches of government.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why you have this government is to put in place the independence of the governance process.
Yep.
Sister Cindy, if I can sit on this platform, this is your platform, okay?
Right.
You want this. If I can sit here and say, I disagree with you on
Oh
issue,
yeah.
and this is just between just two individuals with like mind, hoping to explore the best for Liberia. Why is it so complicated for an institution that is supposed to be independent in their decision making to refuse the idea of standing against the other branch of government? It is because they are so bought into the stealing, the idea of stealing.
Yep.
They have no other understanding of why they were brought to power.
Yep.
In the
I
Western world,
agree.
in the
Yep.
Western world or other advanced society, those individuals are looking at legacies. What can I do so that when I'm no longer here, I will be remembered for my contribution to society? What have I learned that I can bring in so that my community or my society as a whole can benefit?
Right.
Those are the ways people look at governing, okay, or the governance process. Unfortunately, the ones we elected see it as an opportunity to enrich themselves. So they will not stand against Madame Claudia having to have a foundation and then walking away later to say, I want to manage the foundation. What if Madame Claudia, let's just say hypothetically, decided, I want to give out the foundation, I'm going to give it to the government to operate. Madam Boykai, the recent opening of that institution, I don't think Claudia case would be admitted at that institution. I don't think
No.
her grandkids will go there.
No.
But it
The
would be
people running
Liberian.
private jet will run there. Yeah.
Liberian children who will benefit from it. Did you see the current First Lady presence at the program to say, regardless of whose name is on that institution, my presence is appreciated because I think we can either use this as a building block to either stop such behavior or we
Oh
can
yeah, that's
work
my
on
point
it.
exactly. So we need to confiscate it and
Right?
use it as a
So,
government
right.
building
So,
to educate our children. Yes,
thank you.
that's our
But
money.
the First Lady here is telling you, I don't care. She was invited. She may have been invited. Let me not speak as though I am informed of the invitation. She may have been invited, but she ignored the invitation. Okay? So what did that tell me? She doesn't care. She and other people just don't care. It's not about the kids or the other people, but they can invest in the individual celebration. 52 years of marriage, they can wistfully spend on it. And then when you talk about it, the people say, the person that makes money now, he can celebrate. Didn't you tell Liberian that he lived a modest life? He was so simple in his lifestyle. The reason why you hear me kind of just jumping here and there all over the place is because I feel like all of these things contributed to why Claudia today, all right, had her name on that foundation and why she's operating the foundation. So if I personally was in her position, I wouldn't have turned over that institution. And I'm sorry to say this, I would not turn it over to the government because I'm afraid that when and if it is turned over to the government, they would not value what it brings. They probably may do everything to rip it apart because of the political interest and their greed. So they may say, you know what? My name is not on it. Claudia name is on it. So let me not get into it. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree too. But there have to be some structure put in place.
Yeah.
You cannot give the first leader of Liberia more money than you give to hospitals.
Exactly.
To the army, to the police. That's illegal. That's the war, declaring war on the people itself. But Lofa, we are saying enough. Thank you for showing up. I had a headache. I think my head is still going on. So give me 1 second. Sis, give me 1 second. Let me just close on my show and I'll call you right back. I need to tell you something before you come up. Yeah? All right. Right. Yeah. So, Lofa, thank you so much for availing yourself. Please have Gio call me tomorrow. Okay. And we need to talk about that fundraiser seriously.
Okay.
And see what's possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, Liberian people, the revolution is not like an apple that when you wrap it will fall. You have to make it fall. You want radical change, you have to stand for it. You see the children of Kenya, they're not having it. You see the children of Nigeria, they're not having it. All right, they're not having it. But in all my closing statement would say, Claire, we are. You collected money for the Liberian Children Fund during the war. You ate it. You came to Liberia, they gave you over almost $1 million every year for 6 years to build that place. It belongs to the Liberian people. Okay? That way I'm going to leave it. Josiah Joka, let me say to you, you're my little brother. You're too young. You are supposed to be idealistic. You are supposed to be a change. You are supposed to come and impact. Okay? But this route that you're taking is wrong. It's very wrong. I have not said anything to you. The first time I said something that when you said they were laying off 40,000 people. I'm sure you also know that those people that Amos tore law on, they stay in jail. Maybe some of them will die in jail. That said they stole 40, I don't know, say 40 gallon or 40 how many of gasoline, which was a lie, and they put them out. They make sure the people are sitting in jail and they replace their job. This is wrong. This is what brought the war. This is what brought the war. And all of us suffer. And some of us are scattered all over the place. We want a Liberia that is equitable. We want Liberia that our children, we can pack our children and come home. So our children can, those of our children that were born in the 80s, in the 90s, they're already in this country. They don't know anything about home. Every now and then we slip in, slip out. So in essence, I want to say to all of you, thank you. You need to go ahead and write, okay, the bylaw, the TOR, and enact the 07 commission that's supposed to be autonomous moving forward, okay, instead of that outdated law. You can't just be over there taking pay. I mean, I know you knew you just coming. What these people have been doing over there in Lofa?
And I will close on this note, Sister Cindy.
Jeez.
The reason why I'm always on the lawbreakers and the legislative looters is simple. These are the people who hold the key to the door of transformation for Liberia. When these different branches of government start to act, when the judiciary start to make sure that the law is implemented to the core, okay, or implementing the law, the executive and the legislature, you will see that things would change drastically. But until that happens, an individual cannot change Liberia. And that is the reason why I told people, and I was very clear on this. I said, some of you are making the case that President Weah is incompetent. He's an individual. We need a systematic recalibration. The system must be recalibrated for us to be successful at moving forward. Until then, we cannot succeed. And to recalibrate the system, those who were part of the process of destroying the system should not be part of the recalibration process.
I
We
agreed.
are a nation of 5 million or more people. Why do we feel like we must continue to recircle the same
The same
corrupt
people,
politicians?
the same
You
people,
have
and nothing has changed with
thousands and
them.
thousands and thousands of competent Liberians. If you cannot reach out and solicit support from your constituents, you continue to recircle the same thieves, the armed robbers, the same group of people. You expect to move any forward than you where you find yourself. And that's what I said. During the campaign and during the elections and every time else, I said, President Boycott does not possess what it takes. President Boycott cannot unite Liberia.
No,
And
he
you guys
can't.
thought it was a joke. Now here we are. We are getting, further apart, more divided than you can imagine. Have a good night, Sister Cindy. Thank you for inviting me on.
Thank you so much. Lofa, let me get your homework when you go home. We Article 90 of the Constitution. The next time you speak on that.
Okay.
You got government officials who are on two payroll because they're on board. They're not supposed to get any more money. So we on that and
All
find
right.
the quotes. Okay.
Thank
Everybody,
you.
thank you so much. Guys, clothe yourself with knowledge of your country, how your country is led, and you will have a lot to say that we do. All right. And we continue to learn new things every day. Thank you so much, Lofa, for availing yourself tonight. You saved my neck because you're going to lay down and sleep. Yo,
Thank you.
goodbye. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.
There I go again. Okay, here we go.